Anyway, this is Operations Officer Windfall, Seattle, Washington. Today's date is December 8th, 2012. The time is about 10:40 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm at the corner of I'm on Mercer. I don't know what street the cross street is. Anyway, so in time, technology was developed that could render a person susceptible to control. As I say, now I'll say a person. I'll say a human or a monkey or some creature. Like, for instance, there was a recent version of Sherlock Holmes where Sherlock tells Watson that he's able to control the activities of moths or something, butterflies or something, by using sound. But it's the same principle. You can control living organisms by manipulating certain aspects of their sensory systems. Right. So, all right. So let's call this planet Terra, or let's call it Boca Prime. We'll call it Earth. What the fuck? So, and let's say it's overrun with creatures, large creatures, small creatures, very small creatures. Some can't see, some you can see very easily. Some swim in the oceans, some fly in the atmosphere, some creep on the planet like creepers. Anyway, so any of these creatures can be manipulated by other creatures using technology. Right, now I'm going to propose something to you. There was a technology developed beginning at the end of World War II. And it was experiments that were conducted in the POW camps in Nazi Germany and also Japan that led to this technology. Anyway, the scientists in the Nazi POW camps and also in the Japanese POW camps were able to delineate that certain conditions couldn't exist whereby a human being, that is, a member of the species Homo sapiens, could be caused to do exactly what they were told to do. Exactly. Perform actions in such a way as almost to be robotic. Right. So, this technology was enhanced, and after the surrender of the United States to the Soviet Union at the end of 1945, the Soviet Union brought all those research efforts to a culmination, and the final culmination was absolute and total control of a species. The problem is it backfires. The backfiring is that those that were in control became controlled. They became a victim of their own technology. So, like, I'm a commissar in Leningrad or someplace, and I'm doing something. I'm moving. I'm doing something. But what is my motivation? What causes me to do what I'm doing? Is it volition? Is it something inside that caused you to decide to do something? Or is it, in fact, some manipulation? It's a manipulation. Anyway, then machines, that is, computers and other things, sentient devices, let's say, were developed that were able to automatically produce the conditions, the conditions that would lead to a proper behavior amongst humans and other creatures too. Other creatures, they're not as easily controlled. Wild things are not easily controlled. But anyway, I don't know. You could say like humans are like domestic animals. I mean, not too far away from domestic animals. But anyway, those with money, that is the people in Saudi Arabia and thereabouts, have used this technology to their advantage. The reason is because when the Soviet Union, through, well, unfortunate conditions in the hierarchy, where they were very much given over to excess, were caused to relinquish their share in the ministry. And the ministry is, of course, something that exists to facilitate the control of, well, human beings. And there was a reason for that development. But anyway, they ceded some of their control, some of their partnership with the ministry because of their excess. Anyway, and also because of the need for fuel. Now, fuel is something that's tangible and real, and it cannot be diminished. Now, Saudi Arabia and thereabouts in the Middle East had lots of oil. Oil is a fuel. There's also coal and other things. But the oil was the big thing because they had to develop cars, like you see there. That's automobiles. Trucks, I think planes use fuel, all kinds of things use, and they all derived from oil. The Soviet Union, even though they had control of the United States, and they were using the resources of the United States, and they had control over most of the population through these technologies that had been developed during World War II to subdue and also control the people of the United States and other parts of the globe. They still, because they themselves became victim of desire, that is, excess, and so decay. The ministry asked, well, actually ordered, that the Soviet Union share the partnership that they had with the Saudis and others, because it was necessary to keep the oil supply from being, say, damaged. The Soviets had literally gone off the reservation. They had literally gone so far as to literally become unaware that the resources of this world were being rapidly depleted, and the ministry said, we will allow you to participate in the partnership, but you must allow the Saudis to have a similar partnership. So they did. They allowed the Saudis to be a partner with the ministry. Now the Saudis, of course, saw that the technology that had been developed vis-a-vis control of the human species, well, a portion of the human species that they desired to have control over, was useful, but at the same time very dangerous. And then, in some ways, they were much more cognizant of the aspect of freedom and also, literally, humanity. In a way, the Saudis were much more humane and much more sophisticated and much better partners for the ministry than were the Soviets. In time, the ministry literally told the Soviets, you may have one person only, one representative to make contact with the ministry, and after that, there is no more contact. Anyway, and then they said, and because we feel that you have become corrupt, we ask that you take someone from the Russian Orthodox Church to serve as that representative. So anyway, someone from the Russian Orthodox Church became the representative, so who maintained contact with the ministry. And as a consequence, they were literally pushed aside in some ways by the church and Saudi Arabia. Now Saudis are Muslims. Saudis are Muslims. So in effect you had, on one hand, you had the Orthodox Church, the Orthodox Christian Church, and on the other hand you had the Muslims. It is the religion of Islam. And they were the only contact that the ministry allowed. And the ministry, of course, is an overarching system of control that exists on this world for the express purpose of allowing the survival of the species that has dominated this planet for a very long time. To this end, today, like for instance today, I witnessed a primate, an advanced primate. I like to call them humans, but they're not humans. No, they're not humans. The human beings, for the most part, are very, 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 very diminished. They're literally reached the point of being pretty much like talking monkeys. But anyway, I witnessed the control aspect being rendered before me. So there is a creature, I don't know, the letter A comes to mind. Anyway, this creature was subjected to control. Literally was told to go someplace and then go someplace else. To leave at a certain time, to arrive at a certain time, to do certain activities. It is in total control. It is being totally controlled by the technology that the ministry has used effectively for over 50 years. Anyway, so to cut to the chase, I, as not really an independent contractor, but more like a certain something. And I call myself the Antichrist because that's the only apt term that can be used, is in fact the progenitor of the ministry. The reason the ministry exists is because of me.